Good evening, world. Da. And welcome to another episode of Bandog Talk with the Dog God. A salute, soul power. You know what I mean? Thank you for showing up, man. Much love and respect. By the way, soul power, I subscribe to your channel, man. So, I'm definitely a follower. I'm definitely peeping your content. So I'm a supporter all day. So I appreciate you supporting me, soul power. Much love and respect to you, brother. Um, but we definitely back with another episode of Band Dog Talk with the Dog God. This is brought to you by Formula One Canines. You know what I mean? And we got it, man. We got a great topic. Got a great topic tonight, and we're gonna have a guest coming back, Bando for life. We're gonna definitely cook up on this topic at hand. And like I said, it's a good topic. It's a great topic because I feel like when it comes to these dogs, especially prey-driven, man-driven type working dogs, this part of it is kind of pushed aside. People don't really talk about this part, which is, the mind of the dog. There's a thing that not even a thing, there's a concept of my life that I follow, and I call it the trifecta life, the one, two, and three, which is the mind, the body, and the spirit. And if you think about the superficial, right, which is what you see, right, which is the third dimensional physical, you see that, right, the superficial. You think about that, and how we work our bodies because people see that, and how much hard work it takes to build your physique up, and how you have to be consistent in that work that you put in on your physique. Now, there's three aspects to our third dimensional reality of life, right? As a human, there's our body, there's our mind, and then there's our spirit. Same thing with the dogs. So the mind is what I want to talk about tonight. You know what I mean? I want to talk about that tonight and how that's so important. As a matter of fact, that is the most important thing as far as training and developing in a dog. And a lot of dog men and women and people who own pets, they don't even think about this part of the dog, right? And it's like I said, especially us dog men who like drive. We focus a lot on the drive aspect of the dog versus the mental aspect of the dog, which, once you get the mind under control, then everything else follows, especially with a dog, because a dog is a man's best friend. A dog is going to be loyal by its nature, being a pack animal. So that mental space is very important. So tonight, man, we're gonna cook up really, really nice, man. And like I said, this is something that's been on my spirit, it's been on my mind for a while. And I know a lot of people don't really talk about this. And I'm sure if dogs could talk, they'd be like, man, dog guy, please, you know, speak on my behalf. So tonight, I'm definitely going to speak on a dog's behalf. And I'm sure Soul Power you can relate, man. So any feedback that you got up in the chat, man, just drop it in the chat. It's all love, but that's going to be the topic of the night. You know what I mean? So um, get comfortable. Like I always say, get comfortable, man. I had a long days of work of dogs. A lot of work, man. I got puppies on the ground. I got grown dogs to take care of. I got, one of my dogs got a little skin issue that I'm dealing with, trying to get him cured from, man. And, I got soul power. I got 30 dogs, soul power. Imagine that. Imagine, taking care of 30 souls. That's your responsibility. You know what I mean? I really do take care of my animals. You know what I'm saying? They're like my children. So it's a lot, it's a lot when you have to make sure you give each individual their due time in the sense when it comes to you interacting with them. So definitely was a long day today, like it is every day. But you got to love what you do what we do with these dogs. You have to love what you do. You got to have a passion for this to be able to do the stuff that we do as dog men, because there's nothing entertaining about what we do as dog men and dog women. Now, when I say dog men, understand, ladies, if you guys are listening, I include women as well, but I will make sure I'll say dog men and dog women. You know what I'm saying? So, but being a dog man and a dog woman is it's not entertaining. It's not an entertaining thing. There's been times where I'm like, well, doing a YouTube, right? Like, people like to be entertained when it comes to these dogs. I mean, not even dogs, it's in life. How can you entertain somebody being a dog man? Really? Because our routine is a lot of you know what I'm saying? It's not entertaining what our routine is with these dogs every day. It's picking up dog shit, spraying down dog piss, breaking up a dog fight if that happens, a kennel accident. I mean, maybe conditioning, but I mean, cool with it for a while. But when you see the routine over and over and over and over and over and over again, you feel what I'm saying? That it doesn't become entertaining anymore. You know what I mean? So it's being a dog man is not entertaining. You know what I mean? It's definitely not entertainment, but at the same time, listening to dog men and dog women, if you're a dog man or an aspiring dog man or dog woman, that's where you get your bread and butter. You know what I'm saying? That's where you get your meat and potatoes from the knowledge that you receive from the conversation. So, the visuals of entertainment and the oohs and ahs, I mean, that's not really our lifestyle, as dog men and dog women. There's no oohs and ahs about doing this dog stuff, man. It's a lot of this repetition. And of course, that's how you teach a dog, right? Through reps. You know what I mean? Through reps. So, what'd you say, Soul Power? You said I had a live earlier this year, and I posed a question to the chat in my panel. Do dogs and animals have a soul? I mean, man, come on, Soul Power. We know they do. Soul Power, we know they do. We know they do. If you spiritual, and I take it that you spiritual, Soul Power. If you a spiritual person, of course a dog has a soul. That's how they communicate. A dog don't understand our language. They don't speak English, Dutch, French, Spanish. You know what I mean? They don't speak a language like us, but they do speak spiritual. They do speak spiritual. So yes, they do have a soul. You know what I'm saying? They really do have a soul. I think all God's creations has a soul. You know what I'm saying? Because everything is a part of God's plan. Everything as far as life is concerned is a part of God's plan. And I really honestly feel that a dog and all living things have a soul. You know what I'm saying? We just happen to be the higher beings of this third dimensional earth that we live on. We happen to be the highest of the highest souls of all, living things on the planet. You know what I'm saying? But if it's a part of God, I feel that everything has a soul and it resonates back to the most high. That's my opinion. So yes, I do agree with you on that. I think they do have a soul. Hey, thank you, Soul Power, man. Hey, I worked hard for that. It was a vision of mine. You know, let me see. When did I have that vision to get my property, Soul Power? Let me see. Um, when was that? 2000 and 2010, Soul Power. 2010 is when I had the vision of, okay, I need some land to do what I want to do with these dogs, because I had a house. I bought my first house in 2005. And no, 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 I'm not an Israelite. You know what I'm saying? I'm not even gonna say I'm a Christian, but I believe in Jesus Christ. I believe in the Most High God. You know what I'm saying? I'm not religious though. I don't fall to a religion. I don't fall in line with a religion, but I do believe in Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior, and my example. And I do believe in the Most High God. You know what I'm saying? The highest of the high, because there's all kind of demis and semi gods. I don't believe in them. I believe in the highest of the high God, which is the Most High God, through the example of Jesus Christ. To answer your question. Land in Southern California? No, 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 no. I don't have it in Southern California. I'm up north. I'm actually in Northern California. Soul Power. I'm up north, man, in the mountains and in the hills and shit up north. You know what I mean? One thing about California, it has California has everything. You know what I mean? It has, to where the Gulf of Mexico is, all the way up north near Oregon and shit. You know what I'm saying? So, and also Reno, Tahoe area where it snows and stuff. So you got the desert, then you got the snow. So I'm up where it snows and stuff like that. I'm up north, up in the hills. Okay, you from Long Beach, Soul Power? Salute to you, man. You still live in Long Beach? No, I don't think you live in Long Beach. When I was checking out your content, it looked like you was somewhere probably down south, up in the south somewhere. Where you at now, Soul Power? Okay, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Georgia. What part of Georgia, if I might ask? I got family out there in Georgia. I got family out there in Atlanta, and I got family out there in Savannah. But what I was saying was probably back in 2010, okay, 40 minutes south of ATL. Okay, for sure. That's perfect. So you out there in the outskirts. That's why you got that little bit, that little bit of land out there. I see you out there in your backyard with your chickens and stuff like that. So yeah, salute to you. Salute to you, Soul Power. Like I said, I'm following, man. I'm supporting. I'm listening. I'm supporting, man. I support any and every dog, man, doing their thing. You know what I mean? No hate in my life, no hate in my blood and my spirit. It's all love over here. So definitely a supporter, man. So salute to you, Soul Power. But I decided to buy my land, Soul Power, back in 2010. I've been doing dogs since 2005. I had a couple of dogs. Me and my partner. I bought the male, he bought the female. We had a plan to do these. At that time, it was like we wanted to fuck with the blue pit bulls when we were breeding, because that's when that color blue was hot, and I never seen a gray pit bull at that particular time. You know what I mean? And I was very intrigued by that color, but in a pit bull, like, oh man, gray in a pit bull, that's just dope. But anyway, that's how me and my partner got involved with breeding the dogs. And then I had a house, but I had like a small backyard. Soul Power is small, what I mean? I had my male, and then we did our breeding. Me and my partner at the time, my kennel partner, we did our breeding. I kept two puppies off of that. So I had three dogs. One of my partners was begging me to buy the male that I kept. Like, man, let me get him, coach. Let me get him. Because all my partners call me coach, by the way, Soul Power. But they're like, man, let me get that. Let me get that. You know what I mean? Let me get that male, coach. You don't need him, man. You can make another one. So I sold my boy the male or whatever. Here, man, you can have. Sold it to him, but I kept the female, which happened to be my foundation female. Her name is Buffy. But anyway, long story short, fast forward, as I was, getting more intrigued into the breeding, more in depth in the breeding, I'm like, man, I'm gonna need some space to do what I need to do. I'm gonna need some space. So that all developed within 5 years. I did another breeding. I bought another dog, and then 2010, I was like, man, I need to get some land. If I want to do what I want to do, I got to get some land. And then in 2016, Soul Power, that me and my wife bought our property up here in 2016. Um, I'm on 6.5 acres, on a mountain in a canyon, on a hill, and the rest is dog man history. I mean, as far as what I'm doing now today, man. So I give you a little history on the land, and also taking a hill, man. Like Soul Power, I took a hill in the forest and built that Soul Power. Like, man, you talk about blood, sweat, and tears and money, bruh. My testimony is deep. You know what I mean? And like I said, one of these days, I'll share it with you guys, the testimony, man. But glory to God, man. Praise the Most High. Praise God, man. Definitely was a humbling journey to get to this point. And it still is humbling, man, because it's a lot of work. Like I always say, a lot of work, and more work 3 times. It's just a lot of work just to maintain, and it's a lot of work just to be at this level. It's easier said than done, as the old cliche would say, right? Easier said than done. It's so true. You know what I mean? It's so true. So, but no, salute Soul Power. Whenever Bando decided to come on, he can come on, but we can definitely get to cooking, man. We can definitely get to cooking. But like I said, get comfortable, get your little drink. I always tell people, man, get your little drink, your little cocktail, get comfortable. If you still in the field working, because sometimes I'll be still in the field, man. It's getting dark now, daylight savings, it's getting dark. So I have to cut my time to about 5 o'clock when I end, because it gets dark over here around 5. But if you're still working, if you're at work, you got your headset on or whatever, you're at home, man, get comfortable, man. We're going to get to this Bandog talk, and definitely get down to the nitty gritty of these dogs. And like I said, tonight's topic is a very important topic. Okay. Is developing a dog's mind more important than his bite? Okay. And I would have to say that developing a dog's mind is more important. Yes. Yes, it is more important than the dog's bite. And there's multiple reasons to why this is. Multiple reasons to why this is. Now, when you're dealing with these dogs like band dogs, okay, that should have all drives, if you cook them up right, they should have all drives in their genetic recipes. They should have prey drive. They should have man drive. They should have all the drives. If you're cooking them up right, they should be a multifaceted driven dog. Now, like we say, it's easier said than done when you're cooking these dogs up, but that should be your goal. Okay. Now, when you're dealing with a dog with a lot of drive, what's good with you, Python Don? What's good with you, man? Welcome, man. Welcome. Welcome. We about to dig up in this topic, man. Like I said, I was telling Soul Power, it's been on my mind a lot, about this topic. So I really wanted to cook up on this, because I feel that a lot of dog men and women, they don't talk about this. I'm sure they know it's important, but they don't really talk about it. So I wanted to talk about it because it is very important. It is very important. And like I said, I wanted to speak on the dog's behalf too. I'm gonna speak from a dog man's perspective, but I also want to speak on the dog's behalf, because a lot of people they don't understand their dog's language. Soul Power mentioned, about, do dogs have a soul? Yes, they have a soul. You know what I'm saying? But see, kind of like how Caesar Milan, y'all remember the dog whisperer back in the day? Shout out to Caesar Milan, man. He knows how to read a dog's spirit. He knows how to read a dog's energy. That's why he calls himself the dog whisperer. And a lot of people don't have that gift. You know what I mean? They're very basic when they deal with the dog. You know what I mean? Hey, thank you, Soul Power. Appreciate that, man. Appreciate you sharing the live. But a lot of people are basic when they're dealing with these dogs, family. So, like I said, I definitely want to, like I said, cook up on this, so I could speak for the dogs, and I could also speak for us dog men who do understand how important this is. You know what I mean? So I'm always going to speak from my perspective. It's only from my perspective. There's everybody's perspective in the dog world, right? That deal with dogs. And we should always respect people's perspectives because that's what they deal with. That's their reality. So, me as a dog man, I can only speak from my perspective. So, this is coming from me and my experience, okay? Like I said, it might not be right to you. However, it's right to me. All right. So, this is something that I've learned. Okay. Now, me having 30 dogs that I deal with currently, but I've been having dogs since I was a young man. My first dog, because my mom wouldn't let me. Well, no, I had a dog at when I was 5 years old. But come on, man, I wasn't paying attention to that damn dog. I'm gonna keep it real with you. I wasn't paying attention to that dog, so I don't count that time. But I didn't have a dog that I actually dealt with and understood and was learning from till I was probably like, what, 17? Yeah, when I was 17, I got my first official dog. That's when I bought my own dog. I paid we paid 300. I think we paid 300 for them dogs. It was a paper pit bull. It was a red nose pit bull, papered and shit. I remember that. But anyway, that was my first experience with me wanting to deal with a dog. That was my first experience. Okay. Now, fast forward, I'm 45. I've been dealing with all kind of dogs. I done had all kind of dogs. You know, I got so much experience. And that's what I'm speaking on. I'm speaking on my experience with dogs and also my experience with my 30 dogs that I deal with today. Okay, 30 different personalities that I deal with. Now, when I sell a dog to a client of mine, a consumer of mine who is looking for a specific dog, and I breed performance dogs, okay? From performance pit bulls to performance bulldogs to performance band dogs. I breed performance dogs. You know what I mean? Dogs with drive that are built to work. That's what I do. I always tell my clients, I say, look, when you get this dog from me, I know you're expecting it to do work, whatever that is, whatever your expectations, you want it to work, because that's why you tapping into me and why and buying a dog from me. I said, however, I put what I call an on-off switch in these dogs because you don't want these dogs to become a liability. Okay. A dog with a lot of drive, prey drive, man drive, whatever the drive, you don't want that dog to be in overdrive all the time. So you need to have an on off switch applied to that dog's psyche, okay, from birth, genetically, right? So I always tell people when you get this puppy for the first year that you have this puppy, you need to make sure that you build a bond mentally and emotionally with this dog. Do not try to work this dog for the first year. Now, I don't mean that you want to play with it, with the toys, because, we want an imprint called puppy imprint. We want a puppy imprint, but not puppy work, right? Now, the puppy work, like I tell my clients, it has to be on the mental side of the dog. Okay. Especially when you're dealing with dogs that I breed, when I'm putting these, what I call fire and desire in the genetics. I'm taking dogs that have fire and desire and I'm cooking them up together. It should be double the fire to desire. Or if I know for sure that the parents and the grandparents, great grandparents, great great grandparents has fire and desire, you're dealing with dogs that have drive in the genetics. Now, the key to bringing out these characteristics is in the mind of the dog, right? Which is building confidence, building trust, building love, showing affection. That is very important to getting a dog to want to do what you tell it to do. You know what I mean? It's very important. So I tell my clients this all the time. I say, look, I know you want to see what this puppy can do. You might want to rile it up, and you can do that. You could do that if you want to, but I always stress to them, I said, love on this dog, socialize this dog, nurture the off switch, nurture the understanding of that dog to where he can be chill, he can be loving, he can be playful, he can be cool, he can be dorky, or she, right? Whatever, you got a male or female, but nurture its social skills first, okay? Before you start trying to get it to be all rah rah. So, I mean, so power, I know you can relate to this, and even you, Python Don, you might be able to relate to this too, man. But back in the day when I was a young dog, man, right? I used to get my dog all riled up. It's kind of like how when you're dealing with protection and you do agitation work, right? I used to get my dog, and I still kind of do this. I ain't even going to front to y'all. I still kind of do it, but I don't do it so much like I used to. I used to get a puppy and I would put it in situations where I would make it mad, right? I would agitate it to make it growl and do all that stuff that we like. Oh, look at it! Oh, look at his growling! Look at his snapping at me. Like we would do that, right? I would do that. I know I would do that, right? And so that was something that was more like a show off to, I would show off to my partners or whatever. Like, look at this boy bites you. What are you doing? I grab him by, I grab the dog maybe by his neck or whatever, right? And I grab his little fur by his neck and I kind of shake it up, and then that dog, hey, and your partners be like, oh, he hot, he hot. We used to do stuff like that, and that was more for show. It was really more for show, but even when I was younger, I didn't really understand how to nurture my dog. I would still love on it, but it wasn't, I wasn't building its trust in me. I was just trying to get it to be mean and stuff like that. And it was easy to do that because you agitate, if you agitated, you get, pissed off, right? Somebody agitates you, you're gonna get pissed. So it's easy to make a dog pissed off. You know what I mean? But it's not as easy to get that dog confident in you as its pack leader, confident in you as far as building its confidence. It's not as easy as us agitating the damn puppy and making that puppy mean. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, look. Soul Power said, I'm guilty too, man. Hey, I mean, that was what we did. That was, it was a bravado, right? It was a machismo when we had these type of dogs to show that, this dog can get down. But like I said, we would work on that, right? We would agitate that and bring that out to where if, we was over there hitting our dogs, right? Or, testing our dogs or whatever you want to call it, rolling your dogs, right? Your dog was already, he understood the agitation play. So if another dog came with its agitation energy, then your dog would already, be ready to be agitated and be ready to hit. But the mental side of it, right? Especially when you're trying to or get a dog to understand its on and off switch. Okay. That is very important. Okay. That is very important, especially when you're dealing with a Bandog, a dog that is bred to hunt prey and hunt man if necessary. You know what I'm saying? And I've spoke about a dog of mine that I've had, that passed away because he did not, and him and his brother passed away because they both didn't have an on. They didn't have an on-off switch. They had an on switch, but they didn't have an off switch. And that was my dog's Red Tiger and his brother Brutus. And the breeder told me, specifically that them dogs didn't have an off switch. That was the flaw. She told me the flaw. Now, because I wanted the genetics, I didn't care, but I never experienced a dog without an off switch. All the dogs that I've had in my life had a chill button. You know what I mean? They had a chill mentality too, even though they liked to do what they did when they was turned on. But I never experienced a dog that didn't have that, understanding of, oh, I can chill, or, oh, there's no threat, so turn off. To see a dog always on, when it gets turned on, it does like it like mentally, it doesn't comprehend like, yo, you can chill now. To see that, it was like, it was shocking for me as a dog man, because I'd never seen that. I never seen a dog that didn't have a chill. I never seen a dog want something so bad, whether it be whatever it might be, whatever, I don't care if it was a ball it wanted to chase, like if it was a dog it wanted to get at. I never seen a dog until those two dogs that will pace them, the man. I mean, pace back and forth. I had a 10 by 10 kennel that they was in, and it was, and I like I said, I live on a hill, and in a mountain type hill, but it's clay and rock. That's the soil, right? It's it's pretty solid ground. You know what I mean? It's clay and rock. It ain't no soft dirt where I live on. I ain't never seen a dog that would pace because in his mind it just wanted it so bad, whatever it was, pace back and forth, and it paced a trench in the clay and rock, like you know how you see those movies, right, where the World War II movies where they be digging trenches and stuff and they be hiding in them trenches. I ain't never seen a dog pace himself a trench, especially in clay and rock. And that's how much drive that these dogs have, to where if they wanted it, they couldn't, in their mind, they couldn't shut off. And luckily for me, right, I live on a controlled environment, my property, right? How I have it set up and where I'm positioned, my neighbors, they have acres too, but how I'm positioned on my mountain and the hill I live in, there's, I'm 360 degrees. My neighbors ain't nowhere near me 360 degrees, right? So I was just, based off my positioning and how I have my kennel set up, that I'm just blessed enough to where, my neighbors who might have animals and stuff like that, that my dogs can't see them, because a dog like that, being so determined, he would figure out how to break out of his 10 by 10 kennel and cause an issue. You know what I'm saying? But when I experienced this for the first time, I was like, man, how can I calm this dog down, right? Because I got them as puppies. So I was thinking to myself, how can I calm this dog down? And, you know, working them, they love to work. They loved it. They loved to work. But there was another flaw to them dogs as well, right? Now we can work that dog's energy and calm it down, and also discipline it, because you got to discipline a dog that don't know how to shut off. You have to discipline that, because if you don't, then that dog's gonna be like, I don't care what you tell me, I'm gonna do it. But the other flaw to the dogs that I was dealing with that didn't have an on-off switch, they only had an on switch, is they didn't have the air intake capabilities, right? And the breeder told me about that as well. She told me about them dogs blowing up because of how they were bred basically, you know, they bred them dogs for a particular look, and then based off of that look, it became very popular, and that popularity gave, brought a lot of money profits to their breeding program. However, because of that look, it diminished its overall ability to perform at that high drive level, which is his breathing, right? Its air intake was restricted because of the look that them dogs had. They had the shorter muzzle, you know what I mean? And because of that breeding, that style of dog, they had soft palate. So when a dog cools itself off, right? And we know dogs don't sweat like us. They sweat through panting, right? That's how they sweat. When a dog is sweating and cooling off, they got that, it's supposed to sound like clear, right? Them dogs had soft palates, so it was. So imagine a dog that has a high drive and work and is always running, trying to cool that shit off with that soft palate in there, making that, that restriction, trying to cool, man. So eventually, you know, they were their victim of their own demise. They blew up. They had a heat stroke because they couldn't cool off. But at the same time, I tried my best to mentally get into them dogs' mind to like calm them down, man. However, you know, it didn't really work out. They were getting they would kind of comprehend it, But at the same time, they had a, like I said, they had another genetic issue, which is soft palate, and they couldn't cool off when they did rile themselves up, because when they saw something they wanted, they was on it, and then it was like they were determined, regardless, that I'm gonna get it, I'm gonna get it, I'm gonna get it, I'm gonna, and pace. Thank God they wasn't a whole bunch of barkers, because then I probably would have killed them myself. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Dealing with all that barking and pacing, but they would just pace. Man, it was crazy. But this goes back into developing the mind of this dog, right? The dogs, right? So, like I said, when I deal with my clients, right, I breed dogs with comprehension of chill and turn on, right? I make sure that they have that comprehension. Or if a dog don't have that comprehension, like for example, I bred Red Tiger, the one who passed away, who didn't have an on-off switch. I bred him to a bitch of mine who has an on-off switch. So I'm hoping that the puppy, the offspring, has an understanding due to the mother of an on-off switch. Now, of course, I'm going to have to develop that understanding with that puppy, and this is what we're talking about, right? The developing of a dog's mind. But at the same time, you know what I'm saying, these things, if I'm breeding a dog with that doesn't have a, like Red Tiger, who doesn't have an on-off switch, to another dog that doesn't have an on-off switch, the offspring probably won't have an on-off switch. And it's going to take a lot more developing of that puppy's mind, a lot more patience to get that dog to understand. The key is understanding. Get this dog to understand what you mean by, hey, you can relax. Hey, you can chill. Hey, it's okay to chill. Yeah, you want that, but understand, chill. You can't have that. You know what I mean? Developing, right? That's what we're talking about tonight. How important how important it is to develop a dog's mental space. Now, I would say this: a dog's confidence, especially when it's a puppy, especially if it's a working dog, okay? Us building a dog's confidence is the most important thing to developing a good protection dog. Okay. Now, we've heard of dogs that were skittish. We might have had some dogs that were skittish. I've had only one dog in my dog man career that was skittish. Um, you might have had some dogs that weren't as confident, right? They'll see things, they get startled, or, you know, they're not as warm, like they're not as warm to you when you approach them. They might be kind of standoffish. This is all a mental thing in your dogs. This is all a mental. It's like having a child, right? For those of us who have children, right? That has the talent, but might be a little fearful because it's lacking the confidence of its talent. We see little spurts of that child's talent, right? Oh man, look, the things that's natural, but it's not as confident in it. You might see that. Like I said, some of our children might be confident in their talent. Some of our children might need to be developed in their talents. And dogs are the same way as humans or children, especially children, puppies. Puppies are the same way as children. You might see a puppy that's real outgoing, real confident already out the gate. Then you might see a puppy that is not as confident, shows confidence when it wants to, okay, but not as confident as that other puppy is. Now, do we throw that puppy in the trash? Say, man, it's lacking, it don't have that natural off the top confidence that I want, so it ain't worthy. Do we do that? Some dogmen will do that, or dogmen will do that. It doesn't, it's not showing me this, so it ain't worth shit. That is a flaw in the dogman, because would you do that with your child? You know what I mean? Especially when it comes from good stock, right? It comes from you, who might be confident in certain areas, or it comes from your wife and their family that might be confident in certain areas. Because we're not perfect, right? We might be confident in one part of our life, but might not be as confident in another, right? It's the same thing you got to understand with the dog's mind. It might be confident when it has its prey drive and is chasing another animal around, but it might not be as confident when it's time to bite a human being because in its mind it's like, well, I register my daddy or my mommy as a human, and I don't want to bite my daddy and my mommy. So why do I really want to bite this person, right? But I see another dog or pig or whatever, a wolf or whatever animal prey drive, and I want to tear them. It's confident in that. Do we throw that dog in the trash because it's hesitant to want to bite a human being, and it's a protection dog? But at the same time, it's confident in wanting to bite a prey, an animal. These are the things that we need to understand about these dogs, right? And understanding the mind and how a dog thinks and how to develop that dog's mentality and how important it is first to do that. Okay. And it's very simple to do. Okay. It just requires patience, but it's very simple to do. Okay. Like I said, it's just like how you would deal with your son or daughter when you're trying to encourage them. You take your dog, you love on the dog, especially a dog who's kind of standoffish towards you for whatever reason. We don't know the reason yet until we figure it out. But let's say you get a dog kind of standoffish, you know what I mean? You come near him, he kind of like tucks a little bit, kind of lowers his head. You tell him to come, he's kind of hesitant or she's kind of hesitant. Okay. Don't get discouraged about that. Don't throw that dog in the trash. Okay. That dog is telling you something, but you got to understand what that dog is telling you. You got to understand how to read them dogs spiritually, mentally. Okay. So what you do with a dog like that is you force your energy on it. Okay. But what I'm saying with the energy, it's a loving energy. We're not saying force a dog to do something it's not comfortable doing. Okay. You want to force the feeling of it's okay on that dog. That's what you want to force on that dog. It's okay. Come here, boy. Come here, girl. Oh, you don't want to come? Get over here. Give it the energy. Come here. Now the dog's gonna be like kind of tucking when you give it that powerful energy, but you're resonating with the dog's psyche, the power, because that's how dogs deal with each other in a pack. Just think about when there's a conflict in a pack and the alpha ain't liking the way stuff is going down, right? The alpha is going to snatch up that dog and check it. You know what I mean? Yeah. Now there might be a little, it might be some, a feeling of discomfort from that snatch up, but that dog understands that language, right? Now that alpha is not hurting that dog by snatching it up, but at the same time, it's correcting it and it's getting in that dog's mind, like, hey, you're gonna understand me. Come here. Same thing when you want that dog to understand, like, hey, you don't gotta be uncomfortable. Come here. You bring the dog to you. Come here. You know what I mean? Get over here. And you just love on it. Bring it close. He might be all acting weird. She might be acting all weird and still tense. Let's love on her. Come here, girl. Come here, girl. Daddy love you. Mama love you. You know what I mean? We love you. Give it the energy. Force it on the dog. Okay. You do reps with that when you're dealing with a dog who might be a little intimidated by your energy. You do that repetitiously. Okay. Then the dog understands over time that you're okay. You're not there to bring its frequency down. You're there to bring its frequency up because that's how a dog resonates. That's why they tell you to tell, when you're encouraging a dog, you're encouraging the dog with a high pitched voice, right? You might, come here, girl, come here, boy. It sounds a little kiddish and stuff like that, right? But at the same time, it works because it's a higher frequency that you're dealing with this dog because the dogs are spiritual. The dogs deal with energy. So when your frequency is high, the dog resonates with that. You know what I'm saying? So come here, boy, come here. Oh, daddy love you, mama love you. Come here, come here, come here. encouraging this dog, right? You're implanting in the dog's psyche that it's okay. So let's say you bring this dog out, okay, and I'm giving scenarios more of a dog who isn't an easy dog mentally, you know what I mean, to develop. You know what I mean? I'm not talking about those dogs that's just like whatever, right? You know, you can deal with it, your mama can deal with it, a stranger can deal with it. We're not talking about them dogs. We're talking about a dog who is very apprehensive at first. You know, I actually like dogs that's apprehensive. I like thinking dogs, me personally, because that means that they're not just gonna let anybody walk up on them. They thinking about scenarios before they approach it. I like a thinking dog. You know what I'm saying? So what I understand that dog is, but see, the key is this: we as dog man needed to try to understand what that dog is thinking. That's the hard thing to do. You know what I mean? That's why I was talking about with Caesar. You know, Caesar Milan. That's what his specialty was: understanding what the dog is thinking first before you diagnose if the dog is trash or the dog ain't worth it or whatever it might be. That's why we get into the subject matter. Okay, so when you get a dog, right, that's apprehensive, not as, let's say, confident as the other dogs, okay, that dog's going to take you spending some time to figure it out, right? Because that's really what a dog is looking for, a pack leader. Now, a lot of times, most of those dogs that act that like they're not as confident or skittish when it comes to how we interact with them, they don't act that way in a pack, okay, of other dogs. And the reason why they don't act that way in a pack of other dogs because the pack leader demonstrates to that dog what he wants the pack or she wants the pack to act like, and then all the dogs in the pack fall in line. And I've learned this firsthand because I have 30 dogs. So not only am I the pack leader, but I have dogs that mimic me because I'm the pack leader. Excuse me, the pack leader. Okay. All my dogs mimic me. So when there's a new dog that's coming in to the pack, not only do they feed off of my energy that I direct, right, with my dogs, the other dogs are displaying the same energy as me. So then the new dog has to fall in line. Okay. Because that's how it is with packs, right? You're either going to be in a pack or you're not going to be in a pack. Okay. And if you're in the pack, you got to fall in line with the pack energy. Okay. Right. The new dog understands the psyche, which is the mental understanding of the pack. It has to fall in line. So that's how we got to think about how we're dealing with our dogs on the individual basis when you don't have any dogs, that I need to implant my psyche into this dog. Because a lot of times, right, people don't realize that who you are is what your dog will become. If you buy a dog and you low frequency, you low energy, you negative, and whatever, you angry, your dog is feeling all that. And it's going to, if you're the leader, it's going to mimic all that negativity. You know what I'm saying? If you're positive, you're loving, right? You're caring, you're confident, your dog will exude that if you have that bond with that dog. You understand? It will exude whatever energy that you project. Okay. But this is all a dog's mental space. This is what a dog is comprehending when it's looking at you and it's watching you and you're giving it instructions, which the dog, like I said, don't understand what you're saying. The dog understands the energy that you portraying when you dealing with it. When you speak, the energy that comes out of your mouth, the dog is understanding that. Okay. And through that repetition is how you develop this dog's mind to be what you want it to be. And like I was saying, a lot of people make this mistake. They get a dog that's not showing the confidence that it wants to, that you wanted to see, and you label it something, you misdiagnose it, and then you don't put the time in the dog. A lot of people do this, and it's wrong. Okay? It's wrong. And it's kind of like this. You might get a dog, right? That you feel like, man, this dog ain't shit, man. This dog is, whatever. This dog ain't confident. It ain't this. It ain't that. You know what I'm saying? My other dogs do this, but this dog don't, or no, or my other dogs that I've had done that, whatever, right? And you might throw the dog in the trash in your mind, right? I don't want this dog. Your homeboy comes like, man, I want that, man, give me that dog, man. I want that dog. And then their homeboy gets that dog, and let's say in a month, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, that dog's a different dog. The dog is confident. The dog is doing everything you couldn't do with the dog. But you diagnose the dog as a piece of shit. A lot of people make this mistake with dogs because they don't understand the importance of developing a dog's mind. They don't understand encouragement and being patient with the dog and trying to figure out what triggers this dog to be encouraged. They don't worry about that, right? They don't even think about it. And I forget word. They don't even think about it. They think about, this dog got to show me this. If it doesn't show me this, then it's that. You're doing an injustice and a disservice to the dog. You really are, if you think this way. Okay. Now, being a skittish dog, 9 times out of 10 is a genetic play. Okay. If they're skittish to the point where you've done everything in your power and you're a confident dog man or pack leader, like Little C's would say, Caesar Milan would say, pack leader. If you're a confident pack leader and you've done all the things necessary to encourage and build that dog's confidence, and that dog is still scary for whatever reason or not confident, then hey, we might have to give it that skittish tag. And genetically, it is what it is. Because I did have a dog that was like that. Okay. Now, I will be honest and say that because I saw it as a puppy and I brought it to the pack, and around the other dogs, though, she didn't act the way she acted around me, though. She was a dog when it came to the other dogs. But around me, she didn't know how to cope with my energy. I honestly felt that was a genetic thing, because every other dog that I've had that had to adjust to me and my power as the pack leader, they might have slowly adjusted, but they eventually adjusted. You know what I'm saying? Because I would put the energy on that. But I was very turned off. I would say this. I was very turned off when you get an 8-week-old puppy that no matter what it was, she was scared of it. I was very turned off by that. So my energy, I didn't do her any justice. Even when I dealt with her, it was more of a turned off energy. So I'm sure I probably could have gotten her out of it. I'm gonna keep it real with y'all. I could have gotten her out of it if I put the time that I'm speaking on right now. If I put the time in and I didn't project the energy of disappointment to her when I dealt with her, you know what I mean? Then I probably would have got her out, because I saw her amongst the pack and she didn't act the same way with me how she acted with the pack. She acted like a confident ass fucking dog. Real talk. So I would say, even though at 8 weeks I saw that energy in her, I was so disappointed in her that I didn't project the energy that would have pulled her out of it. Okay. So I would say that's partially my mistake. Okay. By me not putting the effort into it because of my mental disappointment in her, So yeah, and you're right, Soul Power, they do mirror us. I mean, that's a fact. So, but that was the only dog that I've owned that I seen that fearfulness as 8 weeks at, I mean, 8 weeks old. I seen it like, oh man, this dog is scary for no reason. What the heck? And like I said, it turned me off. It turned me off. So I didn't do her I didn't do her a good service as her pack leader because I could have brought her out. You know what I mean? Like real shit. I could have brought her out because all my dogs that I have on my yard, whether I bought them or I've produced them, because I interact with them on a daily basis. And not only that, because I have other dogs that all interact with each other in some way, form, or fashion, whether it be the energy that they see, whether they see me interacting with the other dogs, the dogs mimic that. So I have help in that confidence building, in that mind shaping, okay, process. I have help in that because the other dogs, and with dogs, they compete, right? So, pal, I know you got multiple dogs. You know what I'm saying? I know you see your dogs compete. Whoever has multiple dogs, they compete for our energy, okay? They compete for our attention. They compete with each other. So that also helps a lot. So let's say, for example, you don't have the time, right? You don't have the time to put in your dogs as far as, attention and, you know, you know, yeah, just the time to put that work in. If you want to build a dog's confidence faster, then you would get another dog to help you. Okay. That other dog will definitely bring confidence to the dog that's not as confident. Okay. Because dogs speak dog language, you know. And let's refer back to Caesar, right? Caesar Milan, right? I know you guys all have seen the dog whisperer. You've seen some episodes. When Caesar couldn't do that dog, or what he called rehabilitate that dog, what he always recommend to the owners, that he was dealing with, he would say, hey, let me take this dog to my pack. I'm gonna take it to my place and let me keep this dog for whatever, a month, whatever, right? And introduce it and introduce it to my pack, and we're gonna rehabilitate it that way. Okay. There's a reason why Caesar does this. Okay. Because even though we are the pack leaders, we're not dogs. We're humans. Okay. We don't speak dog language. Dogs speak dog language. So when Caesar says, you know what, I done used all my expertise, this dog is still a problem, I'm having an issue. I know what can solve this issue, the pack. Okay. Now, we always seen the end result of that pack environment because they don't want to show you the truth, right? Caesar can't show you that because he'd be canceled, right? There's a reason why Caesar uses the pack. Because when you put that dog in the pack, when that dog is acting a certain type of way, guess what? Them dogs are going to force their energy on that timid ass dog. They're going to pressure it. They're going to, do some things to that dog to make that dog nut up. And it's going to bring it out of its situation, or it's going to correct a problem with discipline, because guess what? The pack is going to discipline that dog. And then eventually that dog is going to get in line or get messed up. Okay. Now, when you're a person like Caesar, you're there to be the referee. When you have a pack of dogs like me, I'm the referee. When it gets out of hand, because I deal with pack, I got a pack experiment that I'm doing with my dogs. I have prey-driven dogs that I'm experimenting with pack, like a pack with prey-driven dogs. It's hard to do, especially pit bulls, my band dogs in particular. It's hard to do, right? Especially when they already have the nature to want to fight each other, right? It's an experiment that I've been experimenting with. Okay. But there's an order with that pack. There's an order there. And dogs will fight to get order. Okay. Now, if the pack understands each other, which means the understanding is I don't dislike you, but I might not like what you're doing right now. So I got to discipline you. I'm going to fight, or we're going to fight, but I'm not going to fight to kill you, right? See, there's an order there in that pack. So when you're trying to build a dog's psyche, build a dog's confidence, and you need help because you're not, you might not be patient, then, add another dog to the equation. Okay. That always helps. Okay. You still have to be consistent on what you're doing, but at the same time, that dog will expedite that building of the mental, the mind of that dog. Okay. Now we go to the bite. Okay. It goes back to what I was saying, how I used to do my dogs, and I sometimes still do it. Instigate them, right? That agitation work and making them want to bite stuff. You know what I mean? That's easy to do. Piss a dog off, it's going to bite. It can't punch you with his paw, right? It can only put his mouth on you because that's what dogs use, right? We agitate it. We go there, we throw these fists at you. The youth today, they don't use their fists. They use guns and knives and stuff. But, back in the day, somebody agitates, you might have, if you don't really want to hurt him, you hit him with an open hand slap, five finger open hand slap in his face. You know what I mean? Or, somebody really pissing you off, you hit him with an uppercut, hit him with a hit to the chin, knock him out. Okay. Dogs, you piss a dog off, it's going to bite. That's how it responds. Okay. That is easy to do. You can make a fearful dog bite. You make a confident dog bite. Okay. But see, that's what we like to show, right? We like to show these dogs biting, using their mouth and stuff like that. Okay. Put a dog in the corner, piss a dog off, it's going to bite its way out. Okay. But getting the dog to be confident, that takes work. Right? It takes work. Okay. Getting a dog to bite is easy. Okay. Now, to get a dog to bite where you want it to bite takes more work than just getting the dog to bite, right? That's bite work, bite training. Okay. Now, mind work and mind training is more important than just the bite work and bite training. We need to put more emphasis on training the dog's mind than training the dog's bite, because once that dog knows mentally that it trusts you, that you and it has an understanding, then when you implement and introduce new things to this dog to learn, it's going to be more willing to do it for you, because that's what dogs want to do for us, right? They want to please us. That's what dogs want to do. They want our approval. So you're like, okay, I took the time as a puppy. I just loved on my puppy. I gave it attention. I found things that motivated it. I stimulated its mind. I built this confidence. Okay. For that first year, I introduced it to new things. It might not have been confident in those new things. It might have been hesitant, but I didn't give up on that dog because I just automatically said, oh, that dog's scary or whatever it might be. I didn't give up on that. Okay. I encouraged that it was afraid of or it was cautious of. I brought it back to that scenario. I reintroduced it to that situation. And when it showed me that it wasn't confident, I encouraged it by bringing my energy to that dog. And I encouraged it. It's okay, boy. It's okay, girl. It's okay. No, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Oh, it's okay. I took it away from that scenario and then I brought it back to it. And then it showed me and it was kind of scary. I encouraged it. And then eventually through the reps, because that's how we teach these dogs, through the reps, the dog understood what I wanted it to understand. And then it didn't become fearful. It became confident in that situation. That is important. Okay. That is more important than that dog biting. that dog's showing aggression. That's more important, developing what I call that on-off switch. Okay, the chill button. That's more important because if you don't do that, one, you'll misdiagnose a dog, you'll misdiagnose a good dog. You throw a good dog in the trash because you just didn't know how to develop his mind. Just think of a good football, basketball, baseball, any coach who gets these prima donna athletes, top tier athletes. Why that Phil Jackson and the Bill Belichick and all these great coaches were good. You know why? Because they knew how to get into the player's mind. They got into the player's mindset to get that player to do what that coach wanted him to do. They didn't just give up on the player. Because if that was the case, then you know what? The owners wouldn't hire him. Why do I need a coach if you giving up on? I need you to develop these players. That's why you the coach. Same thing with these dogs. Brother Fabe, salute, Brother Fabe. Respect to you. But that's the same thing with these dogs. We got to think like a coach. Okay? You got talent, but you got to develop that talent. Okay? You got a dog that's not confident. You have to develop that dog's confidence. You got a dog that's kind of skittish. You got to develop that dog's confidence and bring out and find out why it's fearful. Okay? You got a dog that don't want to bite. You got to find out why it don't want to bite. You got to find out what it wants to bite. Right? You got a dog that, don't have an on-off switch. You got to find out why that dog doesn't have an on-off switch. You got to show that dog what an on-off switch is. Okay? Mind development. Okay? Now, there are stupid dogs, just like there's stupid people. Okay? And when you have a dog that just can't learn, then it is what it is. I've had a dog that was dumb as hell. It just couldn't learn. It is what that is. That happens. You know what I mean? That happens. But we have to put forth the effort first before we diagnose a dog to be a certain type of way. We have to train, right? We have to develop so that the dog can understand what we need out of this dog, right? We have to. Because if you don't do that, then you know what I'm saying? We're doing the dog an injustice. Like I said, we're doing the dog a disservice, man. The dog might be trying to tell you something, but you just don't understand what it's telling you. It might be saying, I don't like this, or I need this. And it's telling you, but you don't want to see it. You know what I mean? Because it's not doing what you want it to do. So you don't listen. You're not paying attention to that dog's spirit. You know what I'm saying? You're not understanding. But we got to pay attention to these things, especially when you're dealing with a Bandog. When you want a dog to be able to do damage to a human being, to bite a human being, you better develop that dog's mind first. Because you would get sued. Even if that dog was protecting you, you're going to get sued for that. If your dog was unstable, if your dog was just biting just to bite, right? You will get sued for that. Or if your dog goes over there and it gets loose and attacks your neighbor's dog, you're going to get sued for that. You know how that goes. You know what I mean? So you have to get into that mind of that dog. You have to get into the mind of the dogs. You have to. Okay? And it's the most important thing. Besides anything else, it is the most important thing, especially when you're dealing with a Bandog, especially when you're dealing with a prey-driven dog. Love on your dogs. Okay? That first year, because that puppy's developing. You don't want to mess up his growth plates. You don't want to destroy his teeth. You don't want to destroy his jaws. You don't want to ruin his confidence. Okay, love on that dog. Introduce it to new things. Okay, develop it. Like I said, would you do that to your child? Prime example, I like riding motorcycles. My brother Fabe online, man, he likes to ride motorcycles too. I'm sure, I don't know if you guys like riding motorcycles. I like riding motorcycles, okay? Now, I like doing stunts on my BMX bike, right? Now, doing stunts on a BMX bike is a lot different than doing stunts on a motorcycle on the street, right? Because you go a lot faster, you know, the injury, how you get injured on a motorcycle versus a BMX bike is a lot greater, right? When you make a mistake. Now, because I was good on a BMX bike when it came to stunts and tricks and stuff like that, I wanted to do stunts and tricks on a motorcycle. But me, I'm not a fearful man, but I guarantee you what, when it came to that motorcycle, I was a little intimidated by doing a wheelie and thinking that, oh my God, if I fall on the concrete, I can be really hurt, right? I can get injured really bad. I was intimidated. Okay. Now, imagine if I let that, okay, deter me from figuring out how to do a wheelie on a motorcycle because I was scared at first. Imagine if I let my partners tell me that, you know what, you'll never be able to do that, dog. Hang it up because you were scared. Imagine if I let them develop my psyche and my confidence in trying to figure out how to do that. You know what I mean? I would never be able to do what I wanted to do on that motorcycle. You know what I'm saying? Okay. But you know what? I had to develop my own confidence. I had to practice. I had to do it slowly but surely. I even had to fall down. Okay. And then get back up and keep practicing, right? I had to do that. But that was a development process mentally for me to be confident and understand how to do it. And then once I was confident and understood and practiced, then I was able to do it and I wasn't scared anymore. Same thing with a dog. That's the same thing with the dog. You have to develop the mind of your dog. And it starts when it's a puppy. Now, if you get an older dog, it's going to be a lot harder because those dogs already have things imprinted in their mind already. So it's going to be harder for you as the pack leader, as the trainer. But at the same time, it's doable. You just got to have patience, And the key to it really is just love, man. Encouragement, repetition, reps. That's the only way a dog learns is through reps. Okay? You have to be consistent in repetition. Okay? But at the same time, the importance of this mindset that we're trying to put in this dog, like you can't overlook it. Because if you do, when the dog gets older and it starts feeling itself, it's going to be a problem. It's going to be a problem if you overlook what we're talking about, which is developing the mind of the dog, of a young dog, really. And don't misdiagnose a dog because it's showing you fear or lack of confidence. Do not do that to that dog. Okay. Without doing your due diligence as his pack leader to build him up or build her up. Okay. Don't do it because it's easy for us as dog owners to misdiagnose our dogs. It's easy. The dog ain't naturally doing it. Oh, the dog ain't shit. You know what I mean? The dog don't want to bite nothing. Oh, the dog is cold. The dog is hesitant to deal with you. Oh, the dog is skittish. You know, oh, the dog don't like that tree that fell down and ran. Oh man, the dog is scary. Don't do that. Don't do that to that dog, because the same thing is like, would you do that to your child? If you was a coach and you saw some things mentally that you was, seeing in your players, right? Would you just give up on your players because you seen a mental collapse somewhere? You seen some weakness in his mind, in his emotions, so you give up on him? No, 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 no. No, we don't do that, right? No. Your job is to develop that. Your job is to correct it. And that's what our dogs need. Our dogs need that type of leadership. Okay. That type of understanding. We need to be able to listen to what our dogs is telling us by their mannerisms and the vibe and the energy that they're projecting to us. Like, pay attention to the dog language. They can't speak. Okay. They can't tell you, Daddy, I don't like this. They can't say that out their mouth. Okay. But through their vibe and their energy and their mannerisms, they can tell, they will tell you. They will tell you. Like, oh, you don't like that, huh? Oh, you're not feeling good. Okay. Well, oh, you're not eating that. Why you not eating that? Oh, okay. Like, you got to pay attention. Okay. And it starts with the young dog. It starts with the puppy. Okay. That first year. Okay. Listen to what I'm saying. That first year. Okay. Build your dog's confidence. Love on that dog. Introduce all the environments and all the scenarios. Introduce that dog to it. Okay. Don't be trying to work that motherfucking dog. Excuse my language. Okay. But for real, don't be trying to work that dog, because you can mess the dog up working that dog. Because that dog is growing. And that dog, matter of fact, that dog, what they say, 3 years old is when the dog is mature. So that dog is still growing, even at 3 years old. Okay. But they say about 3 years old is when that dog is kind of mature. You know what I mean? 21 years in human years, 3 years old. So that first year, you shouldn't be trying to work that dog. That first year should be basic obedience, sit, stay, come. You could play with it and stuff like that. You could puppy imprint. Remember the key word, imprint. You can put some things in its mouth and let it play around with a soft bite toy if you're trying to train it to bite. You know what I mean? But you're not pulling on its mouth. You're not expecting this dog to bite super hard. It's a baby. That dog should be introduced to the off switch that first year. It should understand chill. It should understand you can't bite that because you want to. It should understand you don't have to be afraid of that. It should understand you can go over there. You can't go over here. Right? You know what I'm saying? Like, it should understand, right, build, like dealing with your children. That's the same way we need to deal with these dogs. I have to stress it, because the dogs want to tell us this. However, at the same time, a lot of us don't understand what the dogs is telling us. You follow what I'm saying, y'all? So, to wrap this up, okay, take your time with your working dogs, especially when you get them as a puppy. Don't expect these dogs to show you how much of a superstar they are as puppies. Don't put that pressure on a damn puppy. You need to show that dog how much you care about it. You need to show that dog how much you love it. You need to show that dog how much you pay attention. You need to introduce that dog to all the scenarios you need to introduce it to. Introduce it, develop it, encourage it for the first year. For the first year. Take it for walks, bring it to different environments, bring it around children early. If it's hesitant, that means that you got a thinking dog. That's not a bad thing. If the dog is hesitant, that dog is thinking. That's not a scary dog. That dog is using his brain like, I don't know. I'm not confident. I'm not sure about that. Or maybe that dog is reading the energy that you don't read. Because that's how dogs do. They read energies, right? Maybe that dog is feeling the vibe that you can't even feel. Like, no, I ain't fucking with that, Dad. I don't like that, Dad. Oh man, what you acting like that? Oh, you acting like no. I ain't feeling that. Okay, pay attention for the first year. Okay, discipline. Show that dog discipline, because that's what the pack is going to do. The pack is going to discipline the pack. They show order in the pack. They lead the pack by example. They direct each other. That's what we have to do as the pack leader. If we have one dog, you have to be that direction for that dog. And it all starts in the mind of that animal. And it's encouragement, repetition, and introduction, and patience, and love. That's what it is. That's what it is. And like I said about my skittish dog, I did her a disservice because at the end of the day, my energy wasn't feeling her skittishness. My energy didn't like it, and I showed her that when I dealt with her. So why would she feel encouraged when I come around? Well, my energy was of dissatisfaction when I dealt with her. And she could see me dealing with the other dogs in satisfaction, right? But I go in her kennel and I deal with her and I see her cower down and I got the energy like, bitch, stop being scary, bitch. I mean, that's the energy I got to that dog. Why are you always scary, bitch? Okay, and what? Does that encourage that dog? No, she's going to still be the same way. Then I go to the other dogs that's all greeting me and happy and stuff. I pet them and give them all the love and stuff like that. She sees that shit. The dog sees it. So I did her a disservice, okay? Because I diagnosed her without helping her develop, okay? Without doing my part as the pack leader to develop her. Like, look, I mean, you ain't gotta be this way towards me. Whatever is genetically in you that's making you kind of nervous around a human being, let me develop that in you, because you're like a baby. You got a brand new mind. That's a blank slate. I should be able to develop that. And I could have, because I saw how she acted. Like I was telling you, I saw how she acted with the other dogs. She didn't act that way with the other dogs. It wasn't like she was skittish with me and skittish with other dogs and skittish with everybody. No, she was, she just didn't really understand my power as a human. She didn't understand that. Her dog energy couldn't comprehend my power. So she was intimidated by me all the way at 8 weeks old. Okay. So like I said, I had to develop. Okay. Me having 30 dogs, me dealing with so many dogs, me dealing with so many dog personality, develop my dog manship. That's what we're going to call it. My dog manship was developed by me having multiple dogs with multiple personalities and me having to be the example for each and every one of them. And me understanding that when I had a bad day, my dogs registered. They resonated with that bad energy and they acted up. They acted a certain way off the energy that I brought to them. My dogs read it. And it took me a while to see it. Like, damn, why my dogs act differently when I got an attitude, or, if I'm mad and stuff, my dogs act a certain type of way. Like, they deal with me in a way like, I don't know if I want to come at you, Dad. You know what I mean? Like they feel the energy. I had to learn that. Okay, by dealing with multiple dog personalities and seeing how they all reacted to me. Okay, well, shit, they're feeding off of me. They're depending on me to give direction. They're looking for my direction. I got attitude. My dogs are kind of standoffish, or if I'm like angry, then my dogs are acting extra hyphy. They're actually rowdy. Because I gotta a rage energy on me. So my dogs was acting real rowdy. They're bouncing off the kennels extra. Why is that? Well, it's the energy that they reading off me when I come around. I'm at peace. I'm calm, right? I'm calm, and my dog's demeanor is more calm. Hmm. You know. Hmm. You learn these things. We learn these things through experience. You know what I mean? So in closing, you know, like I said, I wanted to cook up on this because I feel that this is left out. You know, developing of the mind of our dogs and encouraging our dogs, loving on our dogs, especially our working dogs, you know, not misdiagnosing dogs because we didn't do our part, you know, just loving on our dogs, man, encouraging dogs, being an example for these dogs, being patient with our dogs, being that professional coach, who takes these players and takes all these different personalities and mesh them into one super team. You know what I mean? Like that's what we got to do when we're dealing with dogs, especially if you got multiple dogs like me. We have to be the example. You know what I'm saying? We can't leave this part of it out. It's the most important part of owning these type of dogs. Okay. So in that first year, okay, please listen to what I said in this live. Love on your dogs, work on your dogs' mental development. Okay. Develop the on-off switch. Okay. Let that dog know it could be chill. You know, let that dog know, yes, it could be petted by other people. Even if it's a dog that you want to bite people, let it understand that it can be petted by other people. Only if it's a threat do you feel like you need to bite. But even at the same time, I need that dog to warn because most of the time, like for example, you got somebody breaking into your house, right? Okay. Them is hearing a dog growl is going to back them up. Think about that. If that dog gives them that snarl, just that alone going to have a thief ready to run. Think about it. Okay, so that dog most of the time don't even have to bite. Okay, see, that's what that's why that mental space for the dog is so important. A dog, the dog should be using his head like, you know what, it's a threat, but let me warn it first. Let me warn that person first before I bite it. Oh, it's a kid, it's playing with me in a certain type of way. Well, shit, I've been around kids. My dad, my mom introducing me to kids. It's just a kid. The energy, the kid is being rough with me, hitting me. It's not a threat. See, that's you developing that. You develop that understanding with that dog from a puppy mentally to know the difference. You know what I mean? Not just bite, kill. Good boy, all that rah rah rah. Good boy, all that barking. Good boy. Well, nah. What about the other shit? What about the chill? What about, hey, we got kids around. Let the kids pet you. You know what I mean? Hey, my partner's over here. You ain't got, he ain't a threat. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? You ain't got to make my partner feel like he can't be in my house because you clocking him everywhere you go. Like, like build that up with your dog. It's important too. So if y'all got any questions, let me check out what my man Python said, man. Let me show this real quick. He said, you see that in hog dogs. It's a different story with hog dogs or hogs because they stand their ground, confuse them. Same pup will growl up to be certified catch dog if given time to grow and given time to grow confident. Yes. Yep. The key word, what you said, Python Don, is given time. Given time to grow. Okay. That's what a lot of us don't do. We don't give time for that mental development. We don't understand, again, in our mindset, like, we're dealing with a dog like we're dealing with children. You don't expect your child to pick it up right away. You take the time to develop that child's mental understanding. Anything that we learn, even as grown adults, it takes time. You go to a new job, you got to learn it. You know what I mean? You got to learn it. Period. You know what I mean? You. Let's say you become a race car driver. You got to go through racing school. You got to learn it. You might have the raw talent to drive a car, but you ain't no full official professional race car driver until you go to school to learn how to drive like a professional. Same thing with our dogs. Same thing with our dogs. Development of the mind is the most important thing of a dog. The most. Because once that dog is confident, like I mentioned, once that dog trusts you, like I mentioned, you get that dog to do anything. You know how dogs are when they love you. Their natural instincts will kick in when they love you. You get a little chihuahua. A little chihuahua ain't no protection dog, but let that little chihuahua, let somebody come towards your wife with that little, let's say your wife nurtured that dog. You know how women do with them little dogs. They nurture them, they love them, and they just cuddle them. Man, you go near your woman, man. You know what I mean? And you do something to that woman, man, or you are a threat, that little chihuahua will bite the shit out you off of instincts. Just because your wife didn't train it to be no biter. But just because your wife or your girlfriend love that dog gonna protect it with his life. That little ass chihuahua, you can stomp it out, but that little chihuahua gonna bite the shit out of you before you stomp him out, before you get to your wife. And all she did was just love on the dog. And that dog's instincts kicked in by itself to want to protect and serve. Okay? That's why it's so important. Okay, let me see what my man said over here, man. He said some dogs are just made to kill with wolf genes. That's why natives can only have them. Yeah, true, true. That is true too. Some dogs are just made to kill with wolf genes. But you know what? A small dog, if it bit you in the right spot, it can kill you, man. You know what I'm saying? You might be able to get it off you, man. But let's say that dog bit you in the neck. You know what I mean? Caught you slipping for some reason, just jumped up, bit you in the neck, and caught that artery in your neck. You know what I mean? Get you bleeding out. I mean, you push a dog in the corner, a dog can kill you, man. A dog can kill whatever it want to kill if it's pushed to the corner, pushed to the brink. That's why them little patterdales, man, them dogs is vicious. Them dogs will shake some stuff. Them dogs will kill rats. Them dogs will get on a big dog, man, pig. So, but again, it's about the confidence, though. Like I mentioned, building the confidence in these dogs, working the mental space of these dogs. You can get a dog to do anything. You know what I mean? If it has the capacity mentally, like the mind capacity, the understanding and comprehension, you can get a dog to do anything. You know what I mean? With the time, patience, and training, you can get a dog to do anything. So, chat, you guys got any other questions, man? Salute, Soul Power. Thank you for showing up, man. I appreciate you. Python Don, appreciate you, man, for showing up. Brother Fade, man, much love. You already know, man. I love you, man. Appreciate you for showing up and supporting your boy. What's that? Yes, Yada. I appreciate you for showing up too, man. And to all those who's gonna catch the live, later on, hopefully you take heed to what I'm saying. I'm speaking for the dogs. I'm speaking through my own experience that, develop your dog's mind. Develop your dog's mind. Work on your dog's mind and its emotion. Encourage the dog, love on the dog, and you can get that dog to do whatever you want it to do. Real talk. You can get that dog to do whatever you want it to do. Okay. Be patient. Be patient. Like as you deal with your children, be patient with that dog and just love on it and watch what that dog will do. That dog go to the ends of the earth for you. The dog will lay down his life for you. If you do if you do what I'm telling you, your dog will respond the way I'm telling you. That's guaranteed. You know what I mean? That's guaranteed. It will. So with that being said, man, beautiful live, great topic. Like I said, I wanted to, really dig into this, and I think I did. Um, like I said, is developing a dog's mind more important than the bite? Of course, yes, it is. Somebody tells you differently, they ain't a real dog, man. They don't understand dogs. If they tell you differently, they don't understand dogs. They shouldn't own dogs because the mind is where it starts. A dog's mental is where it starts. Everything else will fall in line. Once you shape a dog's mind, everything else will fall in line. Okay? Everything will fall in line. So, hey, salute to another episode 10. Brother Fabe, episode 10, boy. You know what I mean? Episode 10. And to many more, man. So you guys tune in. Also, man, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. We're gonna keep cooking up. We're gonna keep, building this Bandog talk. We building it from scratch. We building from scratch. And like I said, I'm just gonna give you in the field knowledge. That's all I can give you. My perspective from me being in the field. You know what I mean? A player coach. Somebody's in the field playing the game and coaching at the same time. That's all I can give y'all. You know what I mean? And hopefully you guys take what I'm saying, apply it. You know what I mean? See if it works. It should work, but apply it for yourself, see if it works. And tune in next time too. Tune in next time because we're here for. So, if you guys ain't got no other questions, we're gonna wrap this live up. And again, thank you guys for showing up, man. I appreciate all you guys' support. Go follow me on Instagram at the Dog God, aka the Coach. If you guys want to reach out to me, go ahead and DM me. Got any questions or whatever, reach out to me, man. Check out my dogs. I'm gonna try to be consistent in giving you guys some content. Um, my yard time series. I'm gonna try to be consistent on that. At least once a week, drop you guys something like that on there. But I'm definitely gonna, give you guys this live at least once a week, and just try to stay consistent with you guys on this YouTube. You feel me? But again, I appreciate you guys, and I'm very thankful for you guys. And until next time, till next Thursday, man. But that's pretty much it, man. We out, man. We out. We out.